we're talking about the NFC South. It is insane. Something that no one could predict. God, I was shocked at, first of all, the Saints.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the Saints, I think, are going to get lucky to be 6-10, and they're 8-3, so awesome. But just kind of like what we were talking about in the AFC West, who we were predicting, who do you believe is going to win the NFC South?
Well, I'm very surprised, too, that the Saints are doing this well. Also, with the Panthers doing so well, I'm actually more shocked that the Falcons are kind of, let's say, underachieving, considering earlier at the start of the season, we predicted them to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, or at least be back in contention. And right now, the Eagles are running away with it. Didn't see that one coming, by the way. But with that being said, I'm going to go with the Panthers. I'm looking at their schedule remaining. And as far as easiness, they've got the best shot to get in. They've got the Saints coming up this weekend, and then following that, they got Minnesota. If they can get past those two, then after that, they've got Tampa Bay, they've got Atlanta one more time, and then they've got Green Bay. So they got some easy games ahead of them once they get past these two rough patches. The Saints, on the other hand, they've got the Falcons, and then following that, they've got Minnesota as well. So I'm thinking the Panthers are going to get it. I just think that they've got too easy of a schedule coming up. Cam Newton is actually finding his receivers, even though he doesn't have his big target, Benjamin, anymore when they traded him. They got McCaffrey going more steady in the offense now, and they got Jonathan Stewart to kind of change the pace, be more of a, get in between the tackles. So I think that the Panthers are actually going to steal this division. I like the Saints, and for some reason Drew Brees isn't Drew Brees that we're used to. It's more of a scaled-down offense. Panthers, in my opinion.
So you're saying Drew Brees is a superpower Alex Smith?
With a better arm, yeah.
Yeah, with a better arm.
With a better arm, yeah.
With overall better everything.
Yeah.
So not Alex Smith. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Alex Smith, and his name wasn't Alex Smith, yeah.
I'm really surprised about the Saints. But I gotta say this. The Saints are very good. Everyone's talking about their defense. Their defense is creating turnovers, just like what they did when they went to the Super Bowl and won it against Peyton Manning. Let me tell you this. You can still move the ball on the Saints.
Yeah.
It's the turnovers that are making the Saints look great. And when they're not turning the ball over, hence last week against the Rams, they're not doing anything on defense.
Yep.
They couldn't stop a second-year Jared Goff. And I know everyone's all about Jared Goff right now. And Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was a one-man wrecking crew against the Saints. And Alvin Kamara was playing out of his mind, and he was the only one who showed up in the game for the Saints.
Pretty much.
I'm telling you, the Saints are not as good as a defense as everyone wants to say. Now, I'm not saying that the Saints are terrible. They're not as bad as the Raiders. God, I'm sorry.
You had to go there.
I know, but I had to. They suck. But the Saints, it is a defense that you can move the ball on and you can score on. Now, it's not the Saints of last year where you could just guarantee that you were going to score a touchdown.
Basically.
But it is a defense where you feel good about, in the 2-minute drill, you can move the ball on and you can get some points.
Right.
With the Panthers, I know everyone wants to take a dump on Cam Newton right now because he didn't do a great job against the Jets. Are we still on that the Jets suck?
They're pretty good, actually.
They're not that bad. I mean, I'm not saying they're good. I mean, I'm not saying that they're a playoff team.
No.
But what I'm saying is their defense, Todd Bowles, former defensive coordinator, has made that defense into no names, into something. They got rid of Darrelle Revis, and they haven't missed a beat. I mean, honestly, they look better. And that defense is actually really good. And you talk about Cam Newton, you talk about Kelvin Benjamin being traded away, so as number one guy. Greg Olsen was very limited. He caught the first pass, and that was all he did the whole game, and he got injured. And then you talk about Curtis Samuel, the rookie receiver that they got, who was also injured. So you got three of your top receivers out. So, and against a good defense, and again, we've talked about this over and over. Carolina's offensive line is not that great. They've never been a good offensive line. No. They've been more of a good offensive line for the running game.
Right.
For the passing game, not so much. And so, let's put this in perspective. Yes, Cam Newton is not his MVP self, but Cam Newton still can get it done when he needs to get it done. That defense is, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL right now. And that's because they're winning games just because of the defense. When Cam Newton was struggling in the first, 6 games, what was helping them win? Their defense. I feel like the Panthers are going to win this division. I don't think the Falcons are going to do it because I think their defense, for some reason, has completely
disappeared.
Yeah, it's gone. And they haven't been going to Julio Jones a ton. You see what happens when he did, and it's last week. And I feel like the Saints, their defense is going to hurt them in the end. I don't think the Buccaneers have a chance, so I'm not even going to say anything else.
I didn't even know they were still in contention, honestly. I'm picking the Panthers just based off the easiness of the schedule. Cam Newton also, his immaturity is probably the Achilles heel too. If he can find a way to just stay focused, yeah, they'll win because he's the best athlete on that team in the quarterback position. But don't be surprised if when it swings one way that one of these 3 teams will take over. I just think because the Panthers have the easiest schedule moving forward, they have the best shot at winning. That's why I think they'll win it. But that doesn't mean that Cam Newton won't completely implode and then that goes down the drain. So
I get your point. Let me tell you, I am a big believer in Cam Newton, and I know a lot of people aren't.
He sleeps with his jersey, people.
I mean, most of the time I will, yeah. I believe in Cam Newton because of the fact of what I've seen him capable of, which is what a lot of people are waiting for. I'm not thinking that he's going to be MVP again. I don't think we're going to see that Cam again. But what I do see is I see the talent that he has around him. Devin Funchess has all of a sudden been fantastic.
Yeah.
You have Curtis Samuel, who I actually really liked. I liked him at Ohio State. Coming into Carolina, they've mixed him in kind of like a Christian McCaffrey, but he's technically a receiver.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey has been phenomenal. And then
I'm sorry, who said that he would?
Yes, you did. You absolutely did. I was a little nervous on him.
Because I liked
him. No, I liked him.
Because he's white.
He was my second best running back coming into the draft, okay? Anyway, but I like Jonathan Stewart, kind of like what he brings, opposite of what McCaffrey has. And I like that combination. Greg Olsen is going to come back. He's going to be healthier. Obviously, he's questionable right now. But I just like this Panthers team. And then the defense is stellar. I mean, you still have Thomas Davis. You still have Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
If you have Luke Kuechly on your team, I'm not afraid for
You've got a really good chance.
Yeah. And I actually like, you're talking about their secondary, I actually like the corner that they have, Bradbury. I think he's really good. He's very talented. I think he's very underrated for what he does. He doesn't get talked about as much, and that's what you want to, as a cornerback. You don't want to be heard about because that means they're not throwing to you. So I like that Bradbury kid. I like the Panthers defense, and I think that offense, I really do believe in Cam Newton. I think he can get the job done. Now, can he do it against the Eagles? That's going to be a different story.
No.
Can he do it against the Vikings?
No. We know.
I think the Vikings is going to be a little tougher because they have a better secondary.
Yes.
I think they could do it against the Eagles, honestly, and that's a different conversation.
We'll see. That front seven, though, is really tough, so we'll see.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have the Panthers winning it. I just feel like the Falcons, they're still struggling with the Super Bowl hangover. I know they've won 3 in a row. It's been against teams who, to me, I'm not so thrilled about. I mean, other than the Seahawks. And the Seahawks, that was when Cam Chancellor went down, Earl
They might
Thomas
even
was
make the
injured,
playoffs,
and
actually.
Richard Sherman is out for the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm not sold on the Falcons because they haven't done it when it mattered most. And it's just weird to see Julio Jones not as successful, other than last game.
Right.
Hasn't really done much this year.
Well, you got to get him the ball, though. I mean,
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't pass him the ball. Like, for example, the Patriots game, you can't get him the ball in the fourth quarter
No.
when you're already out of contention to win. So,
Let me just ask you this: if I were going against your son, and you were the quarterback, and I was the receiver, and your son was playing cornerback, would you throw it to me all the time?
this is a trick question. I would lob that sucker over his head every single time.
Matt Ryan. I'm just saying, man. Just throw it out there.
I would find ways to get you. I mean, he's not going to keep up with you one way or another. But I'd be creative. That's for sure. But
just keep.
Who was the offensive guru though that left them that got Julio the ball? Kyle Shanahan. He's not there anymore. So you got a new offensive coordinator that's figuring this out. Although why you just ignore Julio Jones, who's this big specimen of a human being, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't work.
get it.
I don't work there,
Yeah.
and I don't get that money, so I can't say anything. I'm just saying though, Kyle Shanahan knew how to use Julio Jones, so maybe you can take a page out of his book.
I just want to say that I'm a little upset that all of a sudden Julio Jones decided to show up when I'm going against him in fantasy. 50 points in fantasy, and Brad would not have beaten me if it wasn't for Julio Jones. I was so ticked.
Thank you for that, because
So
now
ticked.
I'm moving up, since I've got AB though, I get 40 points almost every week now.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video. Watch our next My 2 Cents. Alright guys, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are Drew Code Sports Talk. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also, evidently, Drew Code Sports Talk.